Texas, as they prefer to call it here, geographically, and the map looks kind of central. But I'm live at Dealey Plaza, the site of the JFK assassination on the 22nd of November, 1963. My time down here in Dallas with the South African refugees is coming to an end. Once I finish here, I'm headed back to the airport for my trip home. I've managed to have the meet and greet out in North Dallas. We had 55 refugees who showed up there of the 251 that relocated to Texas. Subsequently, I came to the area where many of them are living near Dealey Plaza. Met another 15, but 25 showed up. I'd seen the 10 previously at the meet and greet. So that takes me up to 70. Earlier this morning, I met with an additional, additional 3, takes me 73, then 3 more, 76, and then a family of 3, takes me about 80 refugees I met with here in Texas. So it was an epic event, had some really interesting interviews, including an interview with Ross. He and his wife, Letitia, very well-adjusted, very responsible people, fantastic, fascinating musical background. And so Ross was the first interview. Then I did an interview with Thomas. Thomas had an interesting story. He's a refugee that located to Maine. And while he got assistance from the agency, he didn't feel particularly comfortable up there, and he opted out and came to Dallas. He's doing very well here in Dallas, although still looking for work, and he's adjusting well, good attitude. And so then I did an interview with Donnie. Donnie's interview was pretty interesting, and she had a story about how to get her pets over here because she's involved with Project X, and she has cats she's bringing over. Plus, she's got a boyfriend who's coming over here as well. So that was a fascinating discussion with Donnie. We really enjoyed that. So each of the interviews had a different angle that would be of interest to any refugees coming to the United States. And then, of course, I started my mail room today, mail call. That was interesting. But later today, after I went over and I talked to, earlier today, I should say, I went over and talked to 3 more refugees that I hadn't seen who couldn't make it to the meet and greet. And then I met with a couple more in a family that was coming back from Abilene who've agreed to do an interview later on. So that should be interesting. But here I am now at Dealey Plaza, the site of the JFK assassination attempt and success. Kennedy was shot at approximately 12:30 that afternoon, the 22nd of November, 1963, in a motorcade that passed right next to where I'm standing here in Dealey Plaza. So right there, they came right down the street from that intersection, came right down here. And as the car made its way, I'm up on the grassy knoll, made its way right about down to there. That's where he was shot. President Kennedy was struck by the bullet, which the Warren Commission determined was from the 6th floor of the Dallas Book Repository, located just behind those branches up there on the 6th floor, the 7 floors to the building. That 6th floor window is obscured from here, but that's where the shot purportedly came from, his shots. Senator John Connally was also wounded in the attack. And so, as I said, that attack was before I was even born. The president was assassinated. You know, I recently watched that Netflix series starring James Franco, which is actually pretty good, positing alternative history timelines, which is fascinating. The last time I was here at Dealey Plaza, 3 years ago, it was quiet. Nobody was here. No traffic, no cars on the road. It must have been a Sunday when I came last time. But the museum was closed that day. I couldn't get in. Now the museum is closed on Monday and Tuesday, so I can't get in. Only open Wednesday to Sunday. So you can never win with these things. Anyway, so I just thought I'd come here and show you this and talk to you a little bit about the history of the United States, where the 35th president was assassinated. I'm going to walk around a little bit here in a second, but I did want to give you a feel for things. So there's a rail line that runs over a bridge just over here, and it's very loud. And then we've got the old Red Museum over here, and also the Reunion Tower is just located on the opposite side, not part of the plaza. But this is a rather famous spot, obviously, in the history of the United States. So I thought I'd bring you here. And I was inspired to do this by my neighbor, my friend, Gary Rehart. Gary, of course, had bought one of those rifles, the exact same Italian rifle that was purportedly used by Oswald in the assassination. He bought one of those. Those were a lot of surplus Italian rifles that were really kind of crappy that were shipped to the United States after the Second World War, I guess when we disarmed the Italians. So he bought one of those, exact same rifle, later got a scope for it. And I did an interview with Gary last year, but YouTube is kind of precocious or promiscuous, and got to be careful what you put on YouTube. But that was a fascinating story. So in honor of that interview with Gary, I thought I'd come here and do a shout out to my friend Gary Rehart, who also helped a while back with election campaign. Smart guy. Anyway, I'm just going to give you a little tour around here with the camera. So I've already got it open. So let's rotate around as I go away from the Dallas Book Repository. Here, there's a plaque that reads the words that Kennedy was going to read in a speech that was due to give that day. And that speech was about how we are the guardians of freedom, essentially. But he never gave that speech, obviously, because he was assassinated. So I'm going to turn the camera around and then take you around this area here, okay? There you go. All right, so there's the Dallas Book Repository right there. On the 6th floor, on the extreme right, from my right, on the left of the building is where Oswald purportedly did the shooting. Let me pan around now. That's where the motorcade came right down that little drop right there. As they came down with the president, with the first lady, Senator Connally from Texas. So that's about all I can show you from that standpoint. Let me carry the camera like this and walk down a little bit further. And thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. It's loud here because of traffic. Like I said, my last visit here must have been a Sunday. There was nobody here. I mean, I could have church bounced. There's Reunion Tower over there in the distance. See that over there? You can go up that tower. It's not cheap. Hell, it's not cheap to park here. It cost me $13 to park here. But the president was shot right about there. There's a little plaque down here. To the right, you see a plaque over there in front of that person, that lady. There's another plaque here. So as we work our way back around, you can see the book repository back up the hill there now. Oops, I lost my cover for my tripod. Let me get that. Sorry about the bumpiness. I was trying to get it. So as I said, this is the National Historic Landmark here. And you can see the book repository right there. So many people put their fingers on the signs here that they're not even legible anymore. I'll show you that in a moment. But here's the National Landmark. Site possesses national significance in commemorating the history of the United States of America. Dedicated 1993, that's right here. There's the National Historical Monument marker or landmark. And I'm going to walk down the street a little bit further with you guys. And I'm going to keep giving you this view as we go down the street. Okay? Unfortunately, I don't have this on a gimbal. It's on a tripod. So if I bounce, not trying to give you vertigo. Just trying to keep an image for you to watch. All right, the grassy knoll. That's right here. Okay? So this is where all the conspiracies come from. Right here. The grassy knoll. Journalist Miriam Smith, riding in a motorcade 5 cars behind President Kennedy, reported seeing Dallas police run up this hill, which he called the grassy knoll. Some witnesses believe shots came from the knoll area, but police found no evidence of a gunman. The wooden stockade fence at the top, rebuilt several times since 1963, is a reproduction of the original fence. So there was a fence line up there in 1963. That's a photograph from back then. So that's the grassy knoll right there where the photographer claimed that there were shots fired, but no evidence of it ever discovered by the Dallas police. There's the book repository. And there's one more marker down here. Let me go down here for this other marker. So I'm down now at the triple underpass. This is the final leg. The presidential motorcade was set to pass through the triple underpass en route to the Dallas Trade Mart for a luncheon speech north of downtown. Instead, the presidential limousine rushed to Parkland Hospital, less than 2 miles from here. Railroad employees, cleared by a supervisor and watched by police, witnessed the assassination and resulting chaos from the overpassing. Here's a photograph of the presidential motorcade as it drove under the underpass or the overpass. Right there. The Secret Service agent on the back of it there. So that overpass is right here. I'll show you that in just a moment. That's right there. That's the overpass, and that's where the car was due to go under. So, as I said, the spot where the president was shot is right about where that white car is right there now, right there. Which was a hell of a shot, to be honest. A hell of a shot by Oswald if he did it. Which is what history tells us. A lot of people dispute that. A lot of people don't believe it's real. Whatever the case is, you can see that now these trees obviously must not have been that high. Now you can see that 6th floor window approaching. I've got the tree out of the way. They've actually got like a little marker up there. I guess that's supposed to be the site where Oswald sat up there to do this shot. He shot from there all the way down to here. That's pretty crazy about it. It's a hell of a shot. Right about where I'm standing, a couple feet away from it, because I'm on the sidewalk, was where President Kennedy was struck by the bullet that killed him. I'm going to walk up the plaza a bit here and then give you another view before we wrap up. So that's the book repository there, that sort of yellowish brick building on the left. See it there now. It's a Dallas County Administrative Building. Used to be the book repository. Work our way around Dealey Plaza here. Texas flag blowing in the wind there. The Reunion Tower over there. And right about, I'll tell you when, right about there is where the president was shot. That car went by in that spot where the lead car is. The white car, the Volvo, right about there. Pretty crazy, folks. Over 60 years ago. So I want to thank everybody who participated in the Texas meet and greet. It was epic. I want to thank all the South Africans I met who've immigrated here, the refugees who gave me their time, who shared time, broke bread with me. I really do appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Every man and woman I met was grateful for everything that's happened to them since they had a chance to come to this country, whether they've been here for 30 years, they've been here for 3 years, or for 3 months, or 3 days. They were all very grateful. And I say, welcome to America. If you came 30 years ago, you came 3 years ago, or 3 weeks ago, welcome to America. It is truly a wonderful place to be. And pay no attention to the nonsense spewed in the news. It's amazing. I want to also, for this video, I want to dedicate this to my friend Gary Rehart, who inspired me to come back to Dealey Plaza to report on this site again, a place I've been previously. And once again, I've missed out on going into the library because I can't go in, or the museum, it's closed. But anyway, folks, from Dallas, Texas, this is Chris reporting at the site of the 1963, November 22nd, assassination of John Fitzgerald Kennedy, which changed the trajectory of history. Was it for the better? Was it for the worse? We'll never know. It's a counterfactual. Anyway, God bless you. Take care. Be sure to hit the like button. And thank you for any super chats that came my way during the stream. And a little bit of American history right here from Dealey Plaza in Texas. God bless.